Okay, guys, so it's about 9:47 and looks like the market is setting up for one of my playbook setups. It's what I call a join the trend trade. It's not perfect, but it's sort of there. Let me show you what I'm looking at here. So basically, if we look at the higher time frame, which would be the hourly, we're making this kind of high, higher low, higher high. Now, it's important to recognize this is all inside of this big bearish move down right here. So I'm cautious about this, right? So we had this big lower high, lower low. If you look at this on a 4-hour chart, I don't want to pull up the 4-hour right now, but if you look at the 4-hour chart, this is sort of like a bigger 4-hour structure here. Low, lower high, and then lower low. And now we're sort of retracing within that on the hourly. But because I trade like a 1 minute and a 30-second, I'm still sort of cautiously bullish here. And if we kind of come down to the 5 minute, this is what I look at for this particular trade setup. So the 5 minutes in an uptrend, it's making higher highs and higher lows. This is a pretty deep retracement, but all we kind of want to do right now is go down in here on a 1 minute. Yeah, I'll keep this at 1 minute. Sometimes I go to 30-second, especially around the open, but the market's kind of slow this morning. So I'm going to stick with this 1 minute. And what we're looking for here for this trade to set up fully, it's not really set up yet, is we want to see this as it's retracing in here to really kind of make some more definitive like lower highs and lower lows. So we got a little bit of that, but like this first lower high right around this candle here it's not really, like on a 30-second, I guess it kind of looks like a lower high. It's a little bit sketchy. I don't love this particular trade. The other thing about this is the delta came down really, whoa, what just happened there? Okay, sorry about that. My computer glitched out for a moment. So the one thing about this is the delta came down like really low on this bearish push. That makes me a little sketchy. And although, so here you can kind of see these lower highs and lower lows, and then we broke this last structure here. So what we need to see now is like a kind of higher high and higher low. This looks a little sketchy. Again, I don't love this whole like delta situation, but I'm going to keep an eye on this for a potential entry for what I call a join the trend long setup. Okay, so this is really kind of queuing up nicely. This is sort of like the structural high that I want to see break. We've got this kind of higher low here. I think I want to get in this on a buy stop above this high. Let's see, we probably will get triggered momentarily here, at least we should. There we go. And my stop's going to be below here. And I'm going to target this structural high. I'll show you why in a second, but I just want to monitor this. I don't love this delta right here. It's kind of sketching me out a little bit. I don't love that as we kind of broke this high, like no volume came in and we're kind of pulling back. I actually think I'm going to close this out. I'm going to close this for a tick if I can get it. Kind of see what the market does. There we go. Yeah, I'm just going to close this out. I don't trust that trade. I don't look at the delta as we're making this new high. The delta's coming down. Maybe this is going to go up. This volume is weak. Like when you see us kind of resume a trend, you kind of want to see some volume picking up here. This is, again, this is a 30-second chart. Let me go to like a 1 minute. What does this look like? Yeah, I don't know. This looks sketchy to me. So that's closed, and I'm just going to wait for the next trade setup. So that was like a two tick on that. We're just going to wait for the next one. All right, so looking at where the market is now, this is again that 1 minute chart. You can see I'm really glad I exited that trade. Like it's gone nowhere. My stop was, I think, under this little low here, and we can see that would have gotten taken out. But what I'm looking at now, take a look at this on the 5 minutes. So this is this consolidation here. Like we're still in a 5 minute uptrend. Okay, you can see that kind of situation here. And so as long as we're above this low right here, we're bullish. And we've got this consolidation, and it looks like the market wants to break out. If we look at our 1 minute chart, This 30-second chart, but still, you know, Delta's starting to come up real strong. We're starting to see volume pick up. It looks like we're breaking out of this area right here. And so I want to keep an eye on this, because when you get this consolidation on, again, this is my 10,000 tick, kind of the equivalent of the 5-minute. When you get a nice big consolidation on this intermediate time frame and then a breakout from it, these can be really nice momentum setups. So this is looking like we're going to get a momentum long setup. Yeah, look at this go. Look at the volume and the delta. So we don't want to chase this. We want to wait for something that gives us good risk reward. I'm just going to queue up an order right here, and we'll kind of see where we go here. So this first one was basically a scratch trade. This is settling in. Okay, this is a 1 minute. Let's go to the 30-second. I like being on a 30-second when the market's really volatile like this. It just gives me more clarity in these moves. I want to see a little consolidation is what I'm looking for. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to target the next level of structure. This little faint line here, you can probably barely see it, is actually just the beginning of like a hourly sort of supply zone. So it's not really a structure level. There's a level above here, right up, where is it? Up here, that would actually be a good level to target. This line doesn't need to be here right now. So we're starting to get some consolidation here. 2,000 tick. Yeah, we got a little consolidation there. Maybe could have entered right there. The delta is holding up super nice on this. I don't love the way this 2,000 tick chart looks. I'm just going to kind of watch this here. What I'm thinking is if we consolidate, and what we're looking for is that delta holds up on the consolidation and volume stays low. So we had this nice increasing volume into this move. And what we want to see is a low volume consolidation. So far, I'm liking this. I'm going to bring this order into position just in case we get a pop. It's going to be 1 tick above the high right here. You just never know. The markets can sometimes pop unexpectedly on you. Now we're going to see if we can catch a nice move here for a momentum play. So once we get in the trade, I'll kind of talk through the setup a little bit better of what we're looking at for a momentum play. But we have essentially our higher time frame and our intermediate time frame are both bullish. Low time frame also came out of this range. It's very bullish, very strong delta, nice strong volume into this move. I love this increasing volume like that. When you get that nice clean slope, it's beautiful. And so Delta's holding up pretty good. Came down a touch. The one thing I don't love about this trade is, let me show you my 10,000 tick. You might get triggered in, but this little bit of divergence here. See this from this high to where we are now? And look on the delta. That's freaking me out a little bit, but everything else about the trade looks really good. And the delta on the low time frame looks good. Look at that strong delta. And this is my 2,000 tick. The 30-second, both delta's pretty much the same as the 2,000 tick, and the volume look good. You'll notice I flip between time and tick-based charts. It just depends on what helps me to see things really clearly. We got this nice little tweezer top here. So I'm feeling okay about this. If this delta comes down much lower than this, though, like I'm out of this thing. I'm not going to be interested in it. I need the delta to hold up. This is kind of a borderline trade for me right now because I don't like this big delta divergence, and this is starting to come down a little bit on this pullback, on this consolidation. But let's see if it pops up, especially what I want to see if we break and I trigger into this. I want to see that happens on some good delta, and ideally I'd like to see volume pick up as well. We'll kind of play it by ear and see how we go. And that'll be it. All right, guys, we just got triggered into that trade, so that's good. I'm going to put my stop underneath these lows to be safe. You could put it under that little low. And again, my target's going up here. Because I think at this point, the way the market has been looking, I'll trail the stop and whatnot, but let me show you why I got this target here. So let's zoom out And this target is this 4-hour swing high. So the way we're shooting up, if we're going to stay bullish, then I think we sweep this high. And oh, I should mention too, see where we came down here like this kind of big, this is the hourly chart, but this would also be seen on the 4-hour as this big structure. But there's a gray line right here. You'll probably faintly see right here. I want to show you where that's from. This is the daily chart. Look at this daily right here, this pivot as we came down and then up. Whoops. So that's this line right here. When we look at the hourly, that's what you're seeing right here. So it's a logical place that we would expect this hourly to show some buyers coming in, right? To maybe show some signs of life. And that looks like what it's doing right now. So I want to trail the stop on this, but here we are, we're in the trade. Okay, this is looking a little better. Again, the delta's picking up, the volume's starting to pick up. At this point, I'm going to tighten this stop up under this little swing low here and kind of cover some of my risk. And again, we're targeting high, so we're going to let this play. I'm going to see how this candle forms and if we can come up and retest these highs up here. Again, give this some time and see how it plays out. Again, look at how weak the volume is here on these bullish candles. So if we break above this high, I'll bring my stop up to just about the break-even level. It'll be like a one tick below break-even underneath that swing. But I'm not going to mess with it till then. There's no reason to feel bearish yet. You know, on that previous trade, the delta was way down. Here, the delta's not down. It's just sort of flat. So I'm tempted to bring my stop up underneath this swing low here. We did make a new high, but it's not like super convincing. We kind of just immediately pulled right back inside of this little range here. So I'm just going to give it a second. Again, this delta is a little bit concerning. Yeah, we'll just play it. We'll play it kind of one moment at a time here. Here we go. I think if this pushes up here and can hold a little bit better, yeah, we get at least like a close or at least a bigger push above this level, then I think I'll move this stop up. At that point, I'll be almost at break even. It'll be about 2 ticks of risk on this trade. And then we can sort of take it easy and let the rest of it play out. Okay, I'm liking this better now. I like how this delta down here is picking up. See that right there. And hopefully the volume will start to pick up too. Ooh, look at that. I'm definitely bringing this up. Might even be able to bring it here. I don't want to be too aggressive about stop movement. Yeah, maybe at this point I'll put it here and lock in some of these gains. And let's see where else this goes. So on this trade here, I just want to keep track of sort of what we've got going on here. We entered here and original stop, original risk was 14 ticks. So we got 14 ticks of risk on that trade. 1 minute chart's looking nice. I did switch back to the 1 minute from the 30-second. It was just a little too messy looking for me. And you know, looking at this trade again, just to kind of point out what we were looking for here, the whole setup was the hourly was making these, let me get rid of some of this stuff here. Make it super clear for you guys. This trade has really simple criteria. Hourly is making higher highs and higher lows. Okay, yes, it was internal to this structure, but that's okay. And then our 5 minute also higher highs and higher lows. And then we kind of created a big consolidation on the 5 minute. That's my intermediate trend. And then we broke out of that consolidation. And what we want to see on the breakout is volume on the breakout. See that candle right there? So we were low through the consolidation and then big volume right on this breakout candle. So that sort of confirms the setup for us. And then we went down to a 30-second to take this entry. You could see the consolidation more clearly on the 30-second. So that's where we took our entry off of. I suppose on a 1 minute, you could have waited for this consolidation as well. It looks like possibly that would have sort of worked out. The minimum risk reward I like to get is 1.5, still be on its way. So this is looking like all gravy right now. Our stop is in profit. We're moving towards target. Everything's looking super good. We had all the elements of the trade we needed. There was a little bit of diciness on this big old delta divergence. The big old delta divergence here. You can see it on the 10,000 tick. You know, as we were moving up in price right here, this yellow greenish arrow, we were moving down in delta right here. That gave me that initial hesitancy, but we are resolving that issue now once we get above this. So this is looking good. See this little consolidation here and how delta held up nicely, and we're continuing to grind up. I'm going to bring this stop up there. Just trail this under structure on the 2000 tick. You see it more clearly there than on the 1 minute, which is fine. And let's see if we make it the rest of the way up here, or if we get another little consolidation, that'd be fine too. But at this point, I've, you know, what did I see? We risked 14 ticks and we're at 21. So at this point, we've got a good, wow, my mouse is not clicking where I want it to here. At this point, we've got a good 1.5 R, even if we get stopped out. This would seem silly to come all the way back down. So I'm going to start trailing this a little bit more aggressively here. Got that little wick right there. I'm going to get under that. This 2000 tick chart kind of moves more like a 30-second chart. If we pop up, there's no way I'm going to let that get like super close to my target and then like let it come all the way back down. So I'm going to get ready to trail this stop even more aggressively. Really just lock this in. We've got this structure level right here at 44.08. which is 2 ticks above where I put the target. So we know there's the potential for some sellers to come in here. So we do want to be a little cautious. We want to make sure we lock in gains. Might get another little consolidation. As long as the delta holds up okay, I'm all right. Okay, moving that stop up. So let's see, maybe it pulls back and takes me out. That's okay. We've got really good, at this point, 43 ticks, 14 ticks of risk to make 43 ticks gain, even if we hit our stop. If we hit our profit target instead, we're going to have 55 ticks of gain on that. So that's going to be super nice. We are above that delta level. See this from this previous high. This was our divergence point. We did start to breach that. So the delta is resolving itself to the upside. I'd like to see that. So let's see what we get here. Boom. Smack. Oh, look at that. Wowee. Okay. That went right. Notice, look at that though. Like that's a stop hunt right up above those levels. See how that popped like that? Look at the delta. So the delta is market orders, right? So there's buy stops, right? Those are market orders. Look at that delta candle. That's the stop hunt right above. Here, let me make this line darker so you guys can see it. It's super light right now. So this was that hourly level. Look at from here. See it from that swing high. And look at, let me get off this. Sorry, my cue card on my keyboard there. Just taking some notes as I go here. Look at the delta as we pushed into that candle that broke right there, the delta, right? So that's a clear sign of some stops getting hit. So we are out of that trade. This is pulling back. I don't know if it's going to go much higher. Technically, we breached that 4-hour bearish structure, so things could flip bullish now, but we might need to pull back a little bit first. So that was a super nice setup. We risked 14 ticks. We made 55. So that's pretty sweet. So right now, if we risk 1%, let's see here, 55 divided by 15 equals. So that was about a 4R. So technically 3.93% gain. Risking 1% on the trade. Okay, let's wait till we get another setup. All right, guys. So let me show you what I'm looking at here. This was around where we took our previous trades. This is the 5-minute chart. Market popped right up through. This was that stop hunt. You can see that wick on the 5-minute. We did ultimately move higher you know, but as we moved up through, you can see this was the volume on that stop hunt, huge volume candle. And then as we kind of continued to move up, the volume really dwindled. And then see this volume right here on this 5-minute chart. Okay, that was this kind of first bearish candle down here. Sorry, this top right here, this hammer. And then we started to sell off, and on every one of these bearish candles, we have higher volume than on the bullish candles, right? And then obviously this big push down, and then we just went sideways, right at that 20 EMA right there. We just went completely sideways and then pushed up, which looks kind of bullish. But take a look at my delta, which I keep on my 10,000 tick. Look at this delta, like on this rally up, nothing, no major buying. So no buyers are getting excited and piling into this thing. So I am not pumped to go long here. Kind of interested in going short, but what I need is a setup. I have 4 main plays in my playbook. By the way, guys, if you don't keep a playbook, like I have this playbook with screenshots, I can see like I can study my setups, right? I have 4 main plays in here, and I need a setup to appear. What I'm thinking I might get is a join the trend short trade. So the first long I tried to take that I scratched way down here was a join the trend trade. And I'm looking for that on the short side. You can see on the long side, we had that super bearish delta, which was not very good for a long trade there. But now we're looking for a short trade and we have bearish delta. What I need to see, what makes this not ideal, usually my join the trend trade, I need my higher time frame to be in alignment with the intermediate time frame. Right now, this higher time frame is still bullish. You can see we've made higher highs, higher lows, higher high, kind of pulling back to this little higher low and then pushing up again. But we know we are at like a major area of resistance if we look all through like this whole zone right here. So, you know, it does open up the idea of short trades. And then when you add into that this delta divergence that we're getting here, like there's no aggressive buying on this push up. And then I've got this on a 30-second time frame right here. We're making higher highs and higher lows. All I really need to do on this 30-second time frame, let me get rid of this box. It's going to be annoying for me. All I really need to do is see us, we kind of broke this swing low here. I kind of need to see us make a new lower low, and I can jump in this. It looks like it's actually about to happen right now. Again, look at the delta selling off. What gives me confidence about this trade, what I love to see on these join the trend trades is this. On the last higher high, so this lower time frame is initially moving counter trend. We want that on this setup. That's how the trade sets up. There we go, we're in the trade. So look at that, from this high to this high here, look at the delta. So that's the indication that this move is about to happen. Actually, now this stop could be here. This is my lower high. I'm only going to go, I'm still a little bit sketchy about this trade, so I'm just going to go, I want to get out where these highs are right here. I want to get out right there. I think this can go lower. I think this can go, you know what? I am going to take it lower. I lied. I don't know. Where do we want to test lower? Where do we want to go with this here? Where was that last hourly level? Way down here? Can we get there? Can that happen? I think it might. And that gives us this last swing high down here. That's a big move. That's a really big move. That feels greedy. Let's just get to this support area. Let's see if we can't get there. So I was looking at this level down here, this swing high level. That feels super greedy to me. I think it might go there. Like, we look at this huge move. Like, there was no retracements in here. This level right here needs to be tested right there. That green line, that needs to be tested. You got VWAP down here too, which would be like a beautiful target, but let's not get greedy, guys. That's going to be a really hard hold for me. Yes, I did just catch this huge move, but like, what are the chances of catching 2 huge moves like that in one day? Let's not be out of control here. This is moving. I love it. I love the delta. I don't love this volume on this consolidation candle, but it's okay. I do love the way the delta is just selling off super hard into this as we broke through these structures here. This is exactly what we want to see. And, you know, we might get some consolidation. Again, I'll trail my stop. I don't know if I want to trail it under this yet. That feels a little bit aggressive to trail the stop. We'll let this play out. We'll let this play out a minute. All right, this thing's moving. I feel like I do need to trail my stop a little bit at this point. I'm going to bring it in here, a little bit above break even. It'd be really silly to let that come all the way back. I mean, we're already at like 2R here, so that would not make any sense to let that come all the way back. I don't want to be too aggressive about trailing because for these kind of big moves, we might need to retrace. Let's see what happens. This thing is flying. I love the volume pouring into this move. I love the delta dropping off a cliff. Oh yeah, look at this thing. Look at this. Oh, look at that. I was just about to move my stop more. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, maybe I could have gone for that bigger target. That is an outlandish move. Look at this thing go. Okay, so again, let's just recap this trade here. What did I get on that? So I risked 8 ticks and I got 37. This is an odd day. Like, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, most days don't provide these kind of opportunities. So not this many to get like these good risk rewards like this. 37 divided by 8. So if we risked 1%, that would have been about 4.6% gain, risking 1% on that trade. Just trying to keep track of that for you guys because everybody's got different capital amounts. So I don't want to go by dollar amount here to talk about, you know, how we could have done things. I want to just talk about, you know, risk and percent gain on your capital. Depending, you know, risk 1% is a pretty good standard for day traders and scalpers. Okay, so let's go over this trade again. It was not a perfect join the trend trade because in my setup rules, usually I would want this hourly time frame or the 50,000 tick, which are kind of the same to me, to be both bearish. This was not at the time bearish. This was still very bullish. It looks kind of bearish now. It looks like we just broke this low. The 5-minute or 10,000 tick, that's my intermediate time frame, was looking bearish. So to me, when I'm looking at this, we kind of came up. We did sort of make this higher low, higher high, higher low, kind of tried and then failed, and this slammed down. So to me, all this was like retracement, but not like perfect. Like we did kind of breach this a little bit. It was a little bit of a